Welcome to Leading for Deeper Learning. We're here live at NYSCOSS in Saratoga, and this is the first live podcast I get to be on with you.
How exciting.
So just tell the audience who you are.
Sure.
And your district and what you do.
Sure. So I am Jennifer Gaffney. I am the superintendent at Sackets Harbor Central School District.
Awesome. And where is that for anybody who's going to listen?
Well, you have to travel all the way almost to Canada to get there by Watertown, New York.
Yes.
It's right on Lake Ontario. It's a beautiful, historic little tourist area, and it's just absolutely gorgeous.
Awesome. And how long have you been coming to NYSCOSS?
Well, I've been coming to NYSCOSS now, goodness, I want to say 9 years.
9 years. And how long have you been a superintendent?
I've been a superintendent. I'm going on my ninth year.
Nine years superintendent, 9 years NYSCOSS.
Yep, and over 20 in educational administration.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes to chat with me.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about you first.
Sure.
We covered the headphones. We covered how the headphones work with the hair.
Yep.
It's working for both of us, so we've got that under control. The landscape out there is difficult. It's difficult for adults. It's difficult for students. There's a lot going on, and we're not bringing politics in, but let's just agree that the world isn't well.
The world is not well.
Right. So your values. 9 years as a superintendent. If you had to speak to kind of your North Star, what you keep true to your heart to ensure you're taking care of adults, because when we take care of adults, we take care of kids. And so tell us a little bit about what drives you, your values.
Yeah. So I spent 3 hours yesterday in the car driving to Saratoga to this conference, and I had the opportunity to reflect on that question. And I specifically, looking at the entire career of 8 years in the superintendency, but in particular this past school year, we faced some significant challenges in my school community. So I reflected on that. I kept on coming back to the word courage over and over again. So from there, I really played around with some words, and I came up with a sentence, that bold sentence that you'd put on the wall to represent who you are as a leader. And I came up with a sentence, and I really love it, actually.
Awesome.
Now that I have the time to spend
Let's
on it.
hear it.
Courage is choosing students over comfort, mission over noise, and hope over fear. And it really comes down to what you just were speaking of. We live in turbulent times right now, and we are polarized as a society. It's chaotic. There's so much uncertainty, and our public schools need courageous leaders now more than ever before, in my opinion.
Yeah, and someone recently talking about kind of thinking about changes and what we do each year. And, as school people, we get this magical thing, this cycle, right? Every year, September, it kicks up. We go through June, it ends,
yep.
and it happens again. And this idea of allowing inertia to just roll over and continue forward versus courage, what you talked about. Can you read the sentence one more time for me?
Sure. Courage is choosing students over comfort, mission over noise, and hope over fear.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So real quickly, just your path in 30 seconds in education, into leadership.
Sure.
You are women in leadership,
Yep.
women in the superintendency.
Yep.
We could spend a whole separate section talking about that, but share a little bit about your path.
My path started as a high school social studies teacher, teaching government. It's my thing. I'm a history and political science major. I love our democracy, and I recognize the importance that the public schools play in ensuring the health of our democracy. And so from the classroom, I went on to work in a BOCES. I was Jeff Lewis BOCES, working for the Programs for Exceptional Students. I had a great opportunity to learn about empathy and equity in that learning space with our students with disabilities. It was profoundly impactful to me in my career. From there, I went on to take on a K-12 principalship in Sackets Harbor, worked there for 10 years, and I guess they liked me because they kept me on, and I've been there now. I'm going on my 19th year.
Awesome. So NYSCOSS, hundreds of superintendents, school leaders convene. There's sessions, but it's about connections. And there's amazing presenters, and we learn things. But today's the biggest I think breakouts and sessions yesterday. So a handful of them. Either this NYSCOSS or previous NYSCOSS sessions around connections, around takeaways. What's a gem that you have had, or this time or previous? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's still early in the conference, as you mentioned. Yesterday I had an opportunity to attend your session on New York Inspires. I had the opportunity to attend the welcoming sessions and the keynote address, which was fabulous, by the way. But there was one comment that was made yesterday by Hank Grishman, who was the distinguished member who received the award from NYSCOSS yesterday. And I'm not going to capture it perfectly, but he said something like this, and it did strike me. He said, "We are not just educational leaders in our districts. We are looked at as the mayors of our communities, the cultural leaders, the voices and advocates for every child in our school. And then this is what makes our work so incredible and special." And I couldn't agree more. I think it really highlighted the multifaceted role we play as superintendents, and we do so much more than simply manage our school districts, and we have a really powerful impact on kids in our communities beyond the classroom.
It's so true. So there's a lot going on right now. New York Inspires work.
Super excited. I'm very excited about that work.
It's phenomenal, and then we've got this outside environment, and then you've got all your school things where like the gas pedal is on. We are moving forward quickly. How as a superintendent are you balancing pushing people so that it isn't just inertia carrying us over and we're doing the same thing, with taking care of people?
Right.
How do you do that work?
Right. So anytime I roll out a new initiative, a new idea, change, I try to be very thoughtful, and I try to do it with a level of care so that I can move the change forward without exhausting my team. And a lot of it comes down to, what's the roadway look like? Do we have a long roadway? If we have a long roadway, we can plant the seeds, we can start talking about it, start building that energy and excitement. But if the roadway is short and we have that pressure to move things too quickly, that's where you see in past educational initiatives and pendulum swings where that fails. So if we have a long enough runway, we'll do it right, and we'll get people excited, and we'll move it forward. I will say this though, I am a bit concerned looking ahead at the future of our state and our nation's fiscal condition. Our state's looking at a structural deficit in the next fiscal year that's pretty significant, and I'm a little concerned about the impact that might have on schools and the impediment to moving our work forward, especially as it relates to New York Inspires and all of the wonderful things that can come as a result of that work. So I'm just hoping that we'll still have the resources and capacity to bring it forward.
Yeah, I mean, it is real, it is relevant. I think there are things that we can do that don't push on the budget. However, much of this work is there's going to be resources needed. So
absolutely,
if we're resourcing to that, well, what are we not resourcing towards? And I think that's going to be over the next certainly couple years, we're going to have to make those tough decisions.
Yeah.
So with all of this, right, the climate outside of schools, the things that having to be the mayor, having to be a parent, having to be the care, taker of students and staff, and all of this under this umbrella of superintendency. Why would someone want to be a superintendent? And if they did, what's your advice to them? No, not what you're going to hear in the ed theory leadership classes, but you're 9 years, you're on the ground floor. What are you telling to a new superintendent or an aspiring superintendent about this?
So I'm going to be real, and being real means that I'm going to tell them that the work is not easy, nor should any new superintendent think the work will be easy. But it is necessary, and we need good people in the role to move our school districts forward. My advice to those new leaders would be to lead. I'm going to circle right back to our beginning conversation and that bold sentence. Lead with courage, stay rooted in your mission and your vision and your purpose, and keep students at the center of every decision you make. And then, if you do that, that's the compass. That's what keeps you on the path. That's what leads you in the right direction. And truly, I think that's what is needed moving forward. To ensure that our kids have the future that they need, and our democracy remains healthy and intact.
Yeah. No, that advice is spot on. And recently was at a meeting with my all the superintendents in my area. And there's a new superintendent who stepped into a role by circumstance. And one of the senior superintendents said something as we were going around and just saying, offering support and listening to her. And he said, you don't have to do this alone. And I think, part of NYSCOSS, like, why do we come up here? Why? Because we don't have to do it alone.
Exactly.
This is a chance to connect, form those relationships. So thank you for a couple things. Thank you for being first with me here this morning.
I'm happy to be first.
Thank you for what you do and your 9 years as a superintendent. And look forward to more conversations.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to meet
Yes,
you, and
me
thank
too.
you for doing this.
Awesome. Thank you.